everyone, and welcome back to Life on Lindy, or welcome if you're new. Today's video is going to be narrated by Dean because he knows what he's doing and I don't.
Today we're going to be installing a no-dig fence from Lowe's, and here's what was purchased in order to do that. You'll notice we have the spikes that will go in the ground, and those spikes come with little screws in them for shipping purposes. You have to take that screw out to get the spike off of the pole. I normally string it to get it all straight, and in this case here I went off one of the fence posts because I'm going to attach the fence to the fence post. So we're going to come straight out, and then we're going to go in a 90-degree over to my left right there, and right now I'm just stringing it. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the string around a spike, and I'm going to drive the spike in the ground to hold the string. Of course the dogs will mess it up a few times, but it's naturally straight anyway. So I'll hold the string right there, and then we'll take it off to the left and towards our door at a 90-degree and continue on from there. It's important to pull the string tight before you tie it on to the spike in the ground, because if it's good and tight, then you'll be able to line up your fencing a whole lot easier. Well, it looks like my supervisor, my boy Luke right there, approves of what I'm doing, so he's going to walk off and go do something else. Okay, what I'm doing here is I've already set one fence panel up where I wanted it against the big fence, and the hole that the rod will go down through, I punched a hole in the ground down through the hole that's on the fence panel to mark where the spike is going to go in. What I've done here is, like I said before, there is a screw that holds the poles inside these spikes for shipping purposes, like I talked about before. And at this time here, I did not know you had to take a screw out of it, but you take a screw out of it, and then you'll have the spike right there, and you can go and start installing the spike in the first part. Now, what I did here is this is the first one that I've done. They got a lot easier as I went. I did them a little bit differently. But this is the first one. What I do, the hole that I marked, I'm going to hammer the spike into the ground, and as I'm hammering it in, I'll take a level. Yeah, I needed a better piece of wood to hammer that in with. I will take a level, and I will check both sides of it as I'm hammering it inside the ground. So it's important to do that. And whenever you finally do get it down in the ground, I usually measured from the ground to the top of the spike, and that measurement was 1.5 inches. And I use that measurement for every single spike that I installed. You may, if you have a little bit of unlevel ground area, you may have to have one sticking out of the ground a little bit further, or one down in the ground a little bit farther. But it usually works out pretty good if you have a fairly level ground to do this on. But it's important to get these spikes put in with a level. Put the level on each side of it, of each side of the spike as you're driving it in. And you can tap it around a little bit and check the level. But once you get a good level, you can go ahead and hammer it all the way down in there. And then when you think you're about 1.5 inches from being all the way down in the ground, you can take your tape measure or whatever and measure from the ground to the top of the spike. It's about 1.5 inches, and that seems to be what worked for us. That's about it on that part. What I'm doing right here is, since we're putting this fence panel up against our main fence, I took the mounts off the fence panel on that end, which I could use them somewhere else down the road if I wanted to, on another fencing or whatever. But whenever you get your first spike put in, you're actually making a hole for 2 fence panels. So you'll take your second panel and just overlap the hose. There's actually an indented place in the hose where they fit together. And after you get them overlapped, just take the rod down through the hose and down into the spike. And you can take a piece of wood if you want to, and hammer the spike down a little bit just to hold it a little bit better, but you don't have to. What we'll do is we'll just go along the fence, go along the string rather, to keep installing the next one. What I'll do here is I will line that part up, because you can swivel it all right here. I will turn that and line it up with the string. When I do that, I will take something else and mark the hole that's in the mount on the fence panel. I'll mark that hole, and after I mark it, I will just push that fence panel out of the way so I can drive the spike down in it. We're installing this no-dig fence mainly because we have a septic system in our backyard and we have lateral lines in the backyard. We had to see where those were, and that's why we ended up going with the no-dig fence. And also the no-dig fence, what we're doing here is we're separating basically the pool area from another area for the dogs to run and play. We have 2 Sheepadoodles that are just a year old. They're still act like puppies. They still like to eat cushions and outdoor cushions or whatever. So this will be a temporary fence. We'll probably end up taking it down someday, and it'll be very easy to take down. And another thing, if one section of your fence gets destroyed or broken or whatever, you just take 2 of the rods out, go buy another little small fence panel, put it in place, and it goes right in. So they're really nice for that right there. But yeah, we just wanted the no dig because we could not put 4x4s and concrete and all that. We were afraid we might get into our lateral lines. And sometimes I just have to take a break and pet the dogs because they demand it. And see, they're wanting to get every piece of wood that I get to hammer these spikes in. They carry it off, so you'll probably see me with a different piece of wood each time here. What you see me doing here is I'll basically be doing the same thing as I go down through the fence. It's the exact same process. When you get one fence panel put in and the rod put down and down inside the spike, you'll go to your next one. The fence panel you just put on, you want to line it up with your string, line it up with the rest of the fence, and then take a rod or something to mark the hole on the bottom of the mount on the fence panel at the other end. You'll mark that hole, you'll put your spike in, you'll level your spike, take it down to about 1.5 inches from the ground to the top of it, and just continue on to do that until you're done, basically, or until you get to a corner piece. It ended up raining for quite a few days, so we couldn't come out and work on it, during those days. So I just came out and finished it up on my own. You get the idea of how I did it. But we went to the corner with a full piece, and then we carried it off to the other corner there by the door. There was a stopping point that I had at the corner. I had to cut one of the panels down and put the mounts from the panel onto it before I could make the corner going over towards the house. Whenever I say mounts, I mean the mounts that I take off the panels that the posts go through. When I cut the last one down, I had to put those back on it. I added a tall piece of fencing that I made over by the house, and I attached it to the house, and we put a gate on it too. The gate is sold separately. It comes with the 2-piece gate with the latch, but it does come with the mounts already on it for the post to go down through. We wanted our fence to end right there next to our steps. So whenever we got to the end, I had to make that tall fence right there so the dogs would not jump over the no-dig fence. Then I just attached some mounts to it, and we used that for the end of one of the gate pieces.
This shot shows how he attached the tall panel to the house. We moved the canopy down to this end of the house for the dogs. They hate hot sun, and this side of the house stays shaded pretty much 99% of the time. The canopy top was damaged back on March 3rd when Kentucky had the tornado activity. We finally got it in, and Dean's putting it on top of the canopy for the dogs. And they love to lay in pea gravel. I guess it's cool on them. I'm not sure, but they love it. So we filled in the ground underneath the canopy with the pea gravel, and we put some landscape blocks around it to hold them in. And they just love that thing.
I had a can of Scotch Guard spray on it. Would help it, you know?
We need some Scotch Guard actually for all the pillows.
Where do you get it at?
Anywhere.
I'd like to put some on here before I put it up.
At this point, we're discussing the pros and cons of Scotch guarding the cover. We decided to go for it. I'll have to voice it all over though, because I got music in the background and I can't do that.
Yeah.
Did you hear somebody scream earlier this morning going, ah, like they got stabbed or something?
No.
I did. Could be truck stop, could be trailer park. The way they're playing tug of war with that snake, they'll do that with anything. Everything is fair game right now. That's why they needed the fence. They have so much fun. I love to watch them play. Sometimes we just have to keep them segregated from the things we don't want them to chew up. This side of the fence still has a lot of landscaping left to do, and we still have to paint the trim around the windows. And we still have that giant dirt hill. We also have the remnants of the mud fest back there in that corner. Having sheepadoodles is just like having toddlers. They are so much fun though. And throughout all this, the Moose twins turned 1.
Is it her first birthday? It's her first birthday? Is it your first birthday too? It is. You know why? Because you're twins. Aw, so precious. Oh my goodness, look at her. Her pretty. Sit down. Come over here. Sit. Sit pretty. Aw, you look so pretty. And you look so pretty. My babies. Mama's babies. Look at y'all.
Notice how they prefer to stay in the shade. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.